Hey guys, I thought I would take the opportunity of this royal engagement news to discuss a bit about what my experience is like being the secret princess of the world. And I'll relate it to who Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reflections of. So firstly, you may or may not know about the kings and queens of Europe and how they consider themselves bloodlines that have the divine right to rule. Is that the Magna Carta? I'm not so great with my history. But point being that these so-called Illuminati bloodlines essentially do. I mean, yeah, perhaps their divine right to rule is given to them by the demiurge, but they still were always meant to be who they are. Pretenders to the throne, perhaps, but it was always meant to be that way. So, along with this divine right to rule comes the idea that if there were ever to be discovered bloodline heirs of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, that those individuals, or that individual, would be given the throne, the highest throne, so to speak, because that would suggest that those individuals were maybe, I don't know, the great grandsons or daughters of God, but shit. That can wait. Sorry. But as you know, the script was flipped and instead it's mom. So, technically, yeah, like I've said, you know, I am, along with my sister, and she's my younger sister, so it would be me, the rightful heirs to the throne of the 3D world. But this world is not prepared for all of that. Because if you were to, maybe on a 3D level they could get it. Like, ooh, Jesus Christ really did have children with Mary Magdalene, and there's this descendant, and these just turned out to be these, like, totally average people in the United States. It would also end up coming with all of the higher dimensional story stuff. And it does not appear that human beings are at all prepared to understand multidimensionality and that all of their gods are actually real. It may be really fucking cool if they could get their heads around it, but I am not seeing that. So, yeah, I will not be ascending to my throne anytime soon. I will be wearing my $1.99 headband from the drugstore instead and having a little pity party. I mean, this is so fucking embarrassing to admit, but when the news of the engagement came through, I mean, I always knew it was going to happen, that Harry was going to marry Meghan, because ever since I started this journey, okay, back up. At the very beginning of my journey, like a little over 3 years ago, it started with recognizing that I had a twin flame, and my twin flame was this guy named Brendan, and I was married at the time, and it wasn't him, and this guy was a ginger, a redhead with freckles, and then I realized that he was Cupid incarnate, and that I was Psyche. And he wanted nothing to do with me. He wanted nothing to do with, like, this whole story. He just pushed me away like I was insane. Even though, mind you, he had told me that he was in love with me. Like, we both had this thing for each other. And it was wrong, and we just tried to deny it anyway. So nothing ever happened with him. And then there are just all these synchronicities with ginger guys with mixed race brown girls. I'd see it in my 3D life. I'd see it in things like movies or TV shows, commercials. It was just weird. And then about a year and a half ago, I meet Tony. who is the Son of Man incarnate. And that is the one soul who is both beauty and joy, like their original selves, not their reflective dark selves, if you know what I mean. He is also the incarnation of Cupid and Psyche's daughter, Hedone. He is Adam and Eve's son, Abel reincarnate. Like, it's him, and he's Ginger. And those are the two men in my life. Brendan, and not incidentally, they both have first names for last names, as pretty much all of my boyfriends ever did in my life. I just thought it was a weird coincidence. I also thought it was a weird coincidence that my boyfriends always had an older sister named Claire. Like 5 of them. And then it turns out to be because I would be psychic, and I would be clairvoyant and clairaudient and clairsentient, all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, there are always clues. So many clues. I just, you don't realize them until later. Hindsight is 20/20. And where was I going with this? So yes, so there are all these synchronicities of gingers and mixed race girls, because Jesus Christ was brown. We call him mixed race now. Like, he wasn't black, he wasn't white, he was brown, like me. And Mary Magdalene was fair-skinned with red hair. Not freckles, but she was a redhead. So now everything's flipped like a mirror. And so that makes Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reflections of both Cupid and Psyche, and of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. In terms of their 11th dimensional identities, Prince William is expectation. Kate Middleton, who, like, I just intrinsically, like, don't like at all, she is fulfillment. Prince Harry is disappointment. And Meghan Markle is anticipation. She's anticipation. It's a really beautiful story if you can wrap your mind around it, if you can see it. I know not everybody can, and not everybody's meant to. It's a lot to wrap your mind around. I cried a little that night, because there is a part of me that's like, it's supposed to be me. I have struggled with that since learning who I am. Like, do I want that title? Considering how I feel about the state of this world, and if I couldn't take away the pain and suffering, then what would be the point? That's all I want to do, is emancipate souls from this underworld. I know people who are all about saving the world are coming at it with good intentions, at least on their 3D level. But why would you want to save a realm of hell? So, yeah, my journey is to feel the suffering of my creation. And when I say that, I can understand literally everything about the human psyche in an empathetic, not just sympathetic way now. Even like psychopaths, like I can understand what happens from a 4th dimensional perspective, why they do what they do. But I still struggle with understanding things, normal human things sometimes, of why people want to live long lives. Like, what the fuck? Like, who wants to get old? Most people, apparently. I've never had that. All I've wanted from this world since I can remember thinking is to get out of it. And in no way am I suicidal. Ain't going out like that this time. Because then I just have to come back. Same for you. I just want out. I feel so trapped in a bad dream of broken mirrors that never end. Yeah, so I don't understand that. I don't understand why people want to bring children into this world. Like, even if they don't know what this place is, which of course they don't, I mean, they probably believed in man-made global warming and everyone can see what's happening with climate change and weather and weird shit. Like, where did you think this world was going to go? But that's not what people think about when they decide to have children. We are, at our core, a very self-centered species as human beings, and people just want to fulfill their own dreams. They don't necessarily think about what the experience would be like for another soul to come into a broken world. I know not everyone sees it as a broken world, and some people are all optimistic that it could be fixed, but even their optimism is selfish, because let's say you live in like a comfortable kind of situation in life. It's only because other people are living in suffering and they work as slaves for you to have cheap or affordable goods. Like, it's all predicated on lies and selfishness. I want to break it. So yeah, they ain't quite ready for me. And I can accept that. Because they don't understand that what would come with it is so much better. We've been here trapped in this 3D dreamscape for so long that most souls have completely forgotten what home is like. Whether you even consider 5D home, like, it only gets better. Well, that's not exactly true. There are, I would call most of the fourth dimension just fucking bleak. I don't like it at all. 4D is, like, to me, demon world. It's not a fun place. It's like where, it's like, I call it thought realm. But I do think that 3D Earth has to pass through the fourth dimension in order to get to the fifth dimension, and that's what the tribulation is. I've talked about that before. I wish I could just snap my fingers and make it all better. I can't even snap my fingers. Like, I literally don't know. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Like, some people can't whistle. I can't snap. I'm getting so off course here. Yeah, so I don't know how this all turns out, how it ends. I don't care to be crowned unless I could fix things, unless I could open the floodgates of truth and have people figure out that this is just this dark matrix, but they have to do it on their own. That's like my crazy rescuing codependent mother enabling shit that I have to get over. I have to let my babies figure out their mistakes and experience the consequences of them so they can get to the other side. I know. I have to let go. I get that message all the time too. I have to let go of this place. I am super fucking attached to it, y'all. As much as Heather wants to get out of here, my higher dimensional selves are like deep in it. Anyway, so best wishes to the happy couple. It's a weird Game of Thrones, isn't it? I hope you get it. I hope you find it interesting, and I hope you got something out of my little self-absorbed ramble here.